My name is John Kraft, and I teach at Faulkner University Jones Law School in Montgomery. And so my teaching responsibilities include directing our legal clinics, where our students actually do real legal work and represent clients in different matters. It's all pro bono legal services. This is part of their clinical training. So, like with a lot of professions, students before they go practice law or become a doctor or a nurse, for example, have clinicals that they complete while they're in school to get some hands-on practical experience. So we do the same thing in law school. So I teach and direct what's called an elder law clinic, where we do pro bono wills, powers of attorney, healthcare directives. The students do the work, and I supervise their work for low-income seniors in and around Montgomery County. We also do some guardianship and conservatorship work, as you might imagine. We get appointed as a pro bono guardian ad litem on cases in Montgomery County. And then we also handle some, not all, but we do handle some petitions for guardianship and conservatorship as well in the legal clinics that I supervise. I am on the board of directors with Alabama Guardianship, which is a nonprofit. I am also a member of the Supreme Court of Alabama's Commission on Adult Guardianships and Conservatorship. That commission was originally established back in 2017. It was called Alabama Wings at the time. It has since come under the supervision or oversight of the Alabama Supreme Court. That commission works to improve guardianship and conservatorship practices in the state of Alabama, and I have been a member of Alabama Wings as well as the Supreme Court Commission on Adult Guardianships and Conservatorships ever since 2017. I also serve on the executive committee of that Supreme Court Commission, in addition to serving on the nonprofit board for Alabama Guardianship. Before I started practicing law, I was actually did some consulting with nursing homes, became familiar with long-term care issues, especially different public benefits like Medicare, Medicaid, those kind of things. But also, I was exposed to the types of abuses, financial exploitation that older adults sometimes experience. So when I decided to go to law school, that was what originally led me into the practice of law, which was to help older clients, older adults, especially with estate planning and dealing with unfortunate circumstances like financial abuse, even physical abuse and neglect. And that has kind of morphed as well into my understanding of elder rights and disability rights kind of together in ways where I'm aware more than ever of the times and situations where older adults and those who have disabilities, their rights are removed or restricted in the sort of name of protection. And so I'm an advocate for maintaining and advocating for independence and autonomy with older adults and our clients, as well as those younger who might have a physical or mental disability. Guardianship is needed when someone is incapacitated. So the legal term is incapacitated. So that's the only time that a guardianship is needed is when a person, and let's just talk about adult guardianships, for example, right now, but when an adult is no longer able to either make or communicate their decisions, then they can be found to be legally incapacitated. So that's the only time that a guardianship is needed is when someone has become incapacitated. That's a court proceeding, and so it involves filing a petition. So someone else would file a petition to become appointed the incapacitated person's guardian. So a guardianship might be needed if the person, for example, has not done a healthcare directive or what's called a living will in Alabama. So a healthcare directive is where you make someone else your proxy or agent, and they can make your medical decisions for you if you're hospitalized and in a coma, or you can't communicate those decisions for some reason. So that's an estate planning document. Oftentimes, what I see is for an individual who has not done a healthcare directive and then something happens and they're in the hospital and they can't communicate their decisions. In those cases, someone else may need to go to court and be appointed as their legal guardian in order to make those decisions. So conservatorship might be needed if, for example, the person did not do a power of attorney. And so that's one of the estate planning documents that we often recommend for clients is that you do a power of attorney for finances. And if you don't do a power of attorney for finances, where you've appointed someone else as what's called your agent under that power of attorney, where they can handle your money, property, finances for you if you become incapacitated. If you haven't done a power of attorney and you do become incapacitated, something happens to you and you can't communicate your decisions or you can't make decisions any longer about your money, in those circumstances, a court then would appoint someone else, a conservator, to oversee your money and property, and that's an interference in the adults' rights. So you'd much rather have done a power of attorney and avoid a conservatorship altogether. But conservatorship, just like a guardianship, should only be used when the adult is incapacitated, not able to make or communicate their decisions.